Hakkd brought up a PowerPoint and walked us through this quarter's projections on how we were going to do this. So
This quarter's projections.
there you go.
Only lonely.
All right, we're not going to tell them, okay?
Oh no.
Welcome to episode 7 of the Morning Wood. We're going over this week coming up here. We got March 9th. I guess we'll start out by saying good morning, everybody.
Morning.
Good morning.
Hello, everyone.
We got a ton of enthusiasm. We're all super tired, apparently. So we're
Running
That was
late.
pretty enthusiastic for me.
all right, or that's just the level of enthusiasm we just put forth every day in general.
Mm-hmm.
So, all right, we're gonna roll right on into it. Starting out with this week's Mythic Pluses that are coming up. We got a few big things coming up this week, but first we'll go over. We got Tyrannical hitting at level 2, and that's bosses have 30% more health, and then bosses and their minions do 15% more damage. We got Bolstering at key 4 and plus, so when non-boss enemies die, its Death Cry empowers nearby enemies, increasing their maximum health and damage by 20%. And then the new affix for Shadowlands here at 7 plus. While in combat, enemies periodically summon damaging whirlwinds. I guess let's start with you here, Moose. I guess what are your thoughts on this week? It's like a push week now that Valor or Tyrannical's been pushed down.
I don't think it's going to be as good of a week as this past week has been, but I mean, bolstering on Tyrannical with storming, I don't think is going to be a huge issue, other than for melee having to watch out for storming and tanks having to watch for storming. But bolstering on a non-fortified week is pretty cool in my opinion.
Fair, and I guess it's gonna hurt a little bit because normally if it's a Tyrannical week, you can do bigger pulls, but this thing's gonna counter that bigger pull aspect, right?
Yeah, I can see that.
And then I guess, what about you, Hack? Do you think you're gonna be pushing this week, or what's the plan?
No. This is one of my least favorite weeks ever, is a bolstering Tyrannical week, because the way I look at it is you've already got Tyrannical, right? You don't fortify, so trash is supposed to be easy, right? Bolstering is it fortifies your fucking trash, like.
That's fair, yeah.
So you're basically dealing with fortified and Tyrannical, and just if everything goes perfect, everybody does what they're supposed to do, it's not too bad. But you always get that one fucking trash pack that turns into a raid boss with like 6 stacks of bolstering, right? And raging or storming fucking sucks. I'm not a fan. Cause it's I also hated that King's Rest. It's the same tornadoes in that first room of King's Rest. Horrible.
Yeah, I mean, but storming is kind of a non-factor for ranged.
For ranged, yeah.
It's kind of like volcanic for melee.
I'm swapping back to the Pally though, my guy.
Really?
Yeah.
Poor guy. Thought he could hang with the mage. And then...
I'm just not feeling it as much. And with Mythic Plus coming back out, got re-excited for playing like Holy Prot and Ret. Now that Mythic Plus is actually going to be a thing, I can just be available for that at all times.
So that answers our week 5 question of who the better mage is. It's the last one standing.
No, it's still the OG, the hack, baby, the hack.
We should do like a little log review sometime, you know?
Good.
Yeah, that went over really well last week. Got some IMs about that also.
Oh my god, did you?
All right, I guess Merlock, what about you? You gonna be pushing some keys this week, or what's your plan?
I actually ran an 11 last week. Somebody took mercy on me and dragged me through an 11. I know.
Hell yeah.
Nice, dude.
They didn't care about timing it, so that's why we ran it. As long as somebody's willing to take me, I'm willing to go. I would like to see the mechanics and see how it works, especially for ranged.
How'd it go?
It was a bit of a shit show for the first time that we ran through. And then we had a horrible healer, and then the second time we ran through, we had a great healer, but a good healer, but he was just arrogant and talking smack the whole time, so I ended up ignoring him halfway through the instance.
Oof.
Yeah.
Sometimes it'd be like that.
It do.
Yeah. I'm like, even I can't remember who it was that was tanking that day. They were like, some people are still learning. I'm like, that guy's still talking shit, and I can't even see what he's saying anymore.
Well, make sure you unblock mist at some point, you know?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I kind of block all Canadians as a general rule. You know,
Oh,
all that
safe.
politeness.
It's a lie. It's a ruse.
It is a ruse. Mist will politely tell you to go fuck yourself.
Yeah.
And you won't even know it.
All right, so I guess that was the first time you've done a 10, or like over a 10 this
Oh, yeah.
session?
Yeah. It wasn't actually as difficult as I thought it was going to be. Last week was the volcanic mechanic, right?
Yep.
Mhm.
Yeah, it didn't even really interfere with anything that I was doing as range. So, but of course, I can move around and just time my attacks so that I can keep moving.
All right, so
Something
Yeah,
that
it gets
Hackd is trying to
really-
teach me.
It's really dicey in big pulls, where it's you move from one volcanic and they're just spawning like crazy, so
Yeah.
you don't really get to do anything unless you go step in melee.
right, and
Other
then
than that,
we
not
don't
too bad.
have really narrow dungeons so much this expansion, right? Like Sanguine Depths is
Sanguine.
the only one, but otherwise everything
Right.
else has a lot of room to kind of negotiate, right?
True, yeah. I think it's like the way the trash is laid out too, because even in some of the open dungeons in BFA, like even Underrot was fairly open in a lot of areas. There's fucking trash everywhere, so you still kind of still dealing with a narrow space. Same thing with like Siege of Borealis. You're trying to facilitate skips and stuff, so you still don't have that much room.
Right.
But this, you pull most of the trash in all these dungeons, in your path at least.
Right, and that is kind of convenient too. It's pretty linear. Most of them have. There's not much variance you can do besides skips.
Right.
So this is your first time seeing Prideful. What were your thoughts of that, there, Merlock?
I mean, I thought it was pretty cool that an extra thing spawned, but I actually have no idea what it did. We just killed it every time it popped up.
All right, so I guess let's go over that for a second. So
Yeah, what does it do? I think they said kill it, so I attacked it. I was like, okay.
So every 20% in trash on the poles throughout there, you're going to summon the Prideful guy, the big red demon. So while you're fighting him, he's going to pulse out an AoE attack. So the longer he's alive, the more damage it does to the group. So that's where it's kind of like a mini
stacking
rage.
AoE.
Yeah, so
Yeah,
one, you got to kill
okay.
fast. Two, it's also going to put like a little blob on somebody that's going to spawn out in like a plus sign and shoot arrows. So ideally, whoever has that stands still. People move around him because you can see where it's going
Right.
to pulse out and shoot. So
Right.
the other
Yeah, the
aspect
priest
is
said that
dodging
I was intentionally trying to kill him with the arrows. I figured out that I could shoot him with the arrows. So.
and that was the troll, the guy that wasn't friendly, right?
Yeah, I can't confirm or deny that I did try to line up those arrows with him a couple of times.
All right, so fair. And then the other mechanic to it is it gives you like a heroism type thing after you kill him, right? I guess hacks. What's the stats on? Do you know?
I don't know. It's just like a % haste or something, isn't it?
Yeah, I know it buffs your
Mini what?
damage, and then I know healers basically can't go during that too. So if they're when going into killing that thing, or when we're done killing it, it doesn't matter. Just pull ahead because they have unlimited mana or some shit. Maybe their regen's crazy.
Yeah, I actually don't know. I just know that it buffs the shit out of you, right? So
So the Prideful
Like,
buff
you
gives
do better.
you 30% damage, 60% movement speed, and 5% mana every second.
okay, that's what it is.
Oh, so yeah, that is huge.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I guess we're looking to see more Merlock potentially pushing that Keystone Master. Is this a thing?
Well, I will definitely try. It really depends on how many people want to get annoyed with me screwing up the mechanics the whole time. So, yeah, and as long I think I need to just start off doing some of the lower level ones so I can get used to the mechanics, and that way I'm not dragging anybody down. Or if people don't care about their keys and progressing their keys, I'll go.
All right, fair. And big change coming up this week. 9.05 drops. We get the Valor system. So I guess we going back to pushing 410. I guess what's your thought in regards to keys? You kind of touched on it. They're hacked. I guess what's your plan now? Like you gonna do a ton of keys each week, or where are you sitting?
It depends. Yeah, I mean, kind of have to do a ton of keys just to get the gear you want to upgrade. Because with the 1500 holding cap on Valor, like that's gonna be the pain point, where you could end up being capped on Valor and just. That's the one thing I'm not excited about with it, is that it is gonna start that dungeon grind where you're going for that specific piece from a dungeon, and you're spamming that dungeon over and over trying to get that one piece because there's an upgrade system and you want it. Um, that I don't like, at least with the current gear drop situation. But
It's the lack thereof.
but yeah, it's something to do, right? Like it's something that I can get on and be like, fuck it, I'm gonna run some keys, like because I actually want to do this thing. Whereas nothing to screw up, because what I've been doing is log on. There's nothing really to do except maybe do some arenas, but I want to find like a good partner because I'm trying to get rating. Like I care about my rating here. Then I end up just doing nothing for like 3 hours of my game time every day.
So, what's your attack plan? Are you gonna find like the dungeon that drops your trinket, your weapon? I guess. Do you have a plan for coming into this, or how to attack?
I don't have a specific plan. I know that I want a couple of trinkets. Yeah, that would be my only specific.
And you haven't looked up to see like it's gonna drop from this dungeon. I need to hit this up to get the trinket, or because you're
Well, I
saying you
know
basically need to get that.
on the mage, I want the Unbound Changeling
Okay, from Mist.
from Mists. Yeah,
Why?
just I don't necessarily want it, but I want it.
I think the biggest thing that I'll be targeting is going to be the inscrutable quantum device.
That's true.
Okay, from the other side, the weird thing.
Yeah.
That flat haste proc from the haste proc from whatever trinket I just said.
The changeling.
Unbound changeling.
The changeling. Yeah.
Well, and then that's gonna be a hard one to target too, because it's not just you got to get the trinket, you got to get the right roll in the trinket, because it can be one of the 4 stats, right? Or is it just 3?
Which one?
The Unbound Changeling is a weird trinket because it can be either haste, mastery, or a crit, I believe. Because if you look it up, the item looks weird on Wowhead because there's multiple different variations.
Oh,
of it.
I didn't know that actually.
So at least that's what it was when, like, I first
That
went
makes
after
sense
it.
based on the name.
Yeah, so it's kind of weird. You got to get it to drop, and then you got to get the right roll of it. So that one's going to be a hard one to really target.
On Wowhead, it's just haste.
Yeah.
No, there's. Look at the comment. There's 4 different versions.
On the comment, yeah, that's looking at it.
Yeah, so it's weird when you go look it up because until you find somebody actually comments about it, you're like, what the hell is this about? Why is there 4 of these, or how does that work? But that's the weird variance to it.
Oh,
If you
based
eat.
on your well-fed buff, yeah.
Yeah.
So whatever food you eat, it'll pick that stat.
Oh, so you can target it. So if you've got a food buff,
There's a low chance it will instead become something else, but
man, so that's gonna be that fight where you go in with the buff, something kills you, you die, and you get the scuffed one you didn't want. Like it's the stars are gonna line.
well,
not in your
so
favor.
it's not when the trinket drops, it's not. Oh, it dropped for. It's always gonna buff haste. It changes. So this like trinket can now change multiple times per day, and like Yeah, so once you
Oh.
have it, like it could change in your bags at any time. From
It-
haste to
Yeah, so if
mastery
you
or-
eat like a versatility food, it'll change the buff to versatility or crit or haste or
Oh, it'll
mastery,
adapt
whatever it does.
accordingly.
And then it has a chance on the first well fed of the day, it could become the like super unbound changeling, which gives you all three stats: the crit, mastery, and haste, and it'll stay that way until you unequip it or die. Maybe did it say that?
Wow, so that thing's got even more variables to it. So basically, 9 Central Time, the rollover hits, you take a well-fed buff, and you can be like, all right, it's Super Trinket Day.
Yeah.
Wow.
On the other side of that, though, if you like log in, you get your well fed buff, and it's not the super trinket day, you could be like, well, I guess I'm not pushing keys today.
Right. well, there we go. We'll put that as the first moose dropping of the day. The Unbound Changeling adapts based on your well-fed buff each day. So you've had your moose dropping. We'll see if we get some more.
Nice.
All right. So I guess, Merlock, with this new Valor system, you going to find yourself doing more keys or...
Yeah, I could see that, so I can start pushing stuff. I definitely do need to up my gear a little bit so that I can do more damage in the raids. So I'm looking forward to doing that. There is some stuff that I want to get out of the other side and out of. Well, I mean, I kind of already have I got the Heartstalker's longbow from the chest for killing bosses in Heroic Nathria, so I have the 213 Heartstalker longbow.
Nice.
But there's definitely some gear that drops in the other side that I want to get. There's some gloves and some boots that drop in there for me.
There you go. And that'll be nice. Once you get it, you can start pushing it. I guess, did anybody look into how it's going to lay out? Like, is it going to make more sense to do a bunch of 10s, do a bunch of 15s, or like how much Valor it's going to cost to upgrade it?
Well, it can't cost any more than 1,500, right? Because that's going to be the holding cap. But I would assume out of the holding cap, you could only upgrade 1 or 2 pieces. I would assume. And if we're looking at like how the conquest works with like upgrading it with honor, you know, upgrading it one time from rank 1 to 2 is like, say it's 600 honor. Then upgrading it from 2 to 3 is going to be like 900 honor. So, you know, you can only assume it's something like that. If you've got a piece at 213 and you want to upgrade it to 220, that might be your only possible upgrade within your Valor holding cap.
Okay.
You know? I'm not 100% sure how that's working yet, but
Bless you.
that would be my assumption.
Thank you.
So I guess we'll come back around next week when we actually have some numbers, because I think it's just, from what I saw, it was a bunch of hypotheticals of it's going to work X, Y, Z, but Blizzard changed their mind however they feel. So
Yeah, exactly.
we'll run down how it actually works next week. And what was that?
We have costs for everything. I just don't know how much you get from.
Okay, we do have the costs.
Yeah, so if you do your covenant calling, that gives you 50 valor for each one you do.
Okay.
And then if you're looking at 250 valor to upgrade a shield, ring, cloak, bracer, or neck piece. 400 valor for the trinket, belt, shoulders, gloves, and boots. 475 for helm, legs, and chest. 500 for one-handed agility weapons because Blizzard loves melee, I guess, better. 750 valor for one-handed intellect weapon.
Well, that's because one-handed intellect weapons cost more and offhands cost a lot less. But like agility, every agility one-hander user needs 2. That's why it's cheaper. It equals the same. The same for like conquest.
Yeah, math.
So what were the numbers on the weapon? It was 700?
For intellect, 750 for one-handed, 1,000 for any two-handed weapon.
Yeah.
Okay.
So every which way you cut it, it equals 1,000.
Yeah.
Okay, so
The Fury
300 for
Warriors are the
shield.
only ones that get super dicked.
But they're not real people anymore.
Yeah, nobody
so
plays
Yeah,
those,
yeah.
right? Like,
dead
just-
class.
this Cheat play that, or is he arms?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, cheat plays.
Is he a warrior?
All I know is he still has more pets than me. That's all I know.
I think he has more WoW than anybody. Like,
Yeah,
Probably.
Oh, yeah.
like that guy just knows everything and does everything.
Oh, so that brings up a good topic for MDI last night. Is cheat the new mist?
Oh.
Cheat the new mist, the Canadian that's super salty. What's the?
No, like the dungeon master knowing all the ins and outs and secrets of every dungeon.
I mean,
Oh.
really, everybody could know it, right? They're just the
Not me.
people that put the most time in. You could. Even you, Moose. Even you could know
Wow, that's almost like a compliment.
it.
So I guess on the MDI topic, how did that turn out last night?
It went really well for Blue.
Yeah,
it's
Black
a
had
team
some issues.
Yeah. The team had me, Night Song, Drew, and we picked up Risen and Cheat.
Oh, you
Only a
stacked it.
solid
Like,
team.
were Cheat and Risen just not on a team before? Like when you say
Right.
picked up.
Yeah, apparently they
weren't.
didn't sign up, and then so Blue had a couple people go to start the Horde team to try to get their MDI team going. So Blue was lacking a few people, so we picked up both of them.
Because I think after the first one, they were like, "This is kind of cool," and they got interested.
Look at this casual pickup. Like you picked up like LeBron and Kobe, and you're like, we just picked these two guys up, and like we won.
Yeah, not a big deal. But yeah,
Yeah.
then we got first place on for both the keys, and I think Gold took second on both, and then Black kind of got screwed over because they couldn't get a Plaguefall key. So they
Well, we
couldn't bring one of
also
them.
so even for our spires, we didn't have. I think we only had 3 people from our team. So it was me, Scrumpy, and Radish, and then Bay had to sub in for us, which was huge. It was awesome for him to do that, so we could play. Crow came on, but then she was saying, "Oh, I have a friend that's painting my kitchen and my bathroom, and I totally forgot." We were like, "No, go fuck this. Like, go be with your friend." So we made the decision for her because she felt really bad. She was like, "I don't know what to do," so she tried hopping on. We're like, "No, just get off." And we ended up picking up Pip. We all screened. We only had 3 out of 5, and then, as Moose said, we never got a Plaguefall key.
Oh, so there was that just a forfeit, or what happens on that? I guess?
Yeah, we just took the L for the Plaguefall. I mean, we still get points for that, so because we just took this. So.
Well, all right. We'll just act like this week didn't happen then, right? From the Team
Yeah.
Black perspective, like, well, this is our bye week. So,
Arenas didn't happen though, and we had that on lock.
how's that layout? Is
Bro,
it?
it was me, Scrumpy, and Ataro. Like,
Easy.
So is it? Like, are we combining them? Like, I guess I'm not even up to date on how this thing's working. Are we doing the same week, or what was the talk there?
so we're doing it like based on the season, right? So these are the season's teams, and I guess at the end of the season, we add up all the points, and most points is the winner for that season, and then the next season.
But weren't we going to
We-
combine
Which-
like Arena and Mythic on the same week, or wasn't there some kind of change?
Yeah. So we were gonna try to do that, but Gold does not have a lot of interest in arenas, apparently, and a couple people from Blue had to dip out.
Okay. Well,
We ended up not doing it last night.
I'm gonna put it out there for the higher ups to not do it on Saturdays because that's my family night, so I'm out for Saturdays
Right.
unless the family has something else to do. So, all right. I guess on that note, Mythic Plus pretty good on it. You guys got anything else we want to cover or?
I'm good.
Tyrannical sucks.
All right, so new system, shitty week. We'll see what happens. We'll report
Your
back with some
system
numbers.
shitty week. Yep.
All right, let's roll into world bosses. My favorite part here. So, and this fucking name, like Euronymous, like
Ranamonos.
Oranamonos, the ever branching. All right, so it's the big creepy tree scary guy that's out in Night Fae land in the what's gonna be the southwest quadrant. So we covered this a couple weeks back. Don't run through the elites. Like, don't be dumb. Don't run through the elites. Go to the bottom. There's a little path that's going to get you over there, get you nice and safe, and then you can run into the big horde mob that's just going to kill you when you try and get to this boss. So,
Well,
but this is going to be.
I just glider to it.
Or
Just
you can
glider from the top.
you can get all the way down.
You can glider. You can glider a pretty good distance.
You can.
Okay.
You can glide all the way there.
All right, there we go. So, glider down, take that route, get a safe bet. 3 classes you're going to want to be out there for: Fire Mage, Marksman Hunter, and Resto Druid. So, let's first talk about the Fire Mage, because it's going to be fevered incantation. Fevered incantation. So, this thing's huge, and you guys are the mages, so you're going to know a little bit more about this. From what I looked up, Raid best in slot, Mythic Plus best in slot. If you got a good healer in arena and you don't need the shield thing, it's gonna help you pump in arena. So like this is the fire go-to. So what it's gonna do is each consecutive critical strike you deal increases your critical strike damage by additional 3% up to 15%. So I guess let's touch on this here for a second. While we got I guess Moose, let's start with you. Like this thing's huge. This is your bread and butter as Fire Mage, right?
Yeah, this is basically what makes the class viable, in my opinion. It's just that mixing that on anything like the uncapped AoE in Mythic Plus, getting 15% extra damage, because with Combust you have 100% crit chance, so it's guaranteed you're going to have 15% additional damage going straight off of that. So yeah, it's huge.
All right, good deal. And I guess Hakkd, you want to touch on this, right? Because you're the quote unquote better mage.
X.
Yeah, I mean it just guaranteed to hyper buff our combustion, which is already where fire's damage is. Like their damage profile is every combustion pops up, oh there's your damage, and then you kind of just idle till it comes back up, right? So fevered incantation, like he said, like combustion, you're critting, so 5 spells in, you're just mega buffed for the rest of your combustion.
All right, good deal.
In arenas, no, it's not worth it. I don't care how good of a healer you are, like being able to self-sustain and have the triple barrier in arena, especially for like purge protection, and also prismatic barrier is insane against other casters.
Yeah, but I mean, it's also like fevered incantation is still useful. Like if you have a fresh mage,
it is.
It's the best thing, and it will get you through battlegrounds. It'll get you through some arenas. It's not the best arena pick, but it's still, it's still viable.
All right, so we got 2 sides of it. We got Moose who wants to just fucking blow people up, and then we got Hakkd that wants to be a big bubble guy that wants to just be protected.
It's
he
his only coming out, He's like, I just got a bubble.
My only point there is that mage doesn't need help blowing up players. Like,
that's fair. Yeah.
fevered incantation, because a lot of like your biggest burst, you're never gonna get it stacked up for your big burst, because a PvE combustion is like you're maintaining the 2 stacks of the fire blast buff from the conduit, but you're weaving in the Phoenix Flames and you're getting that full combust. The burst in PvP is literally fire blast, pyro, fire blast, pyro. That's your burst. So when you do that, like the end of your burst gets it fully stacked up. So that's where it loses a lot of value. You don't care about like a full combustion window. You only care about the first 5 globals in PvP.
Oh, okay, so in PvP you're gonna do enough damage anyways. It's better to be protected than worry about the stars aligning to get your whole proc chain off.
Yeah.
Okay, fair. All right, so then the next one, Marksman Hunter. So this is gonna be your Surging Shot legendary. This thing's gonna be like your second best for Mythic Plus, and then I view this as being the top tier one for PvP because it's gonna make your rapid fires deal 25% more damage, and your aim shot has a 15% chance to reset the cooldown on rapid fire. So you stack this with a conduit that's also gonna make your rapid fire do it, and if you're playing against somebody under geared, or if you got some good stacked up buffs, you're gonna melt somebody down with this. And I believe once you trigger it, they can't even line of sight it. These things are coming in, and they're coming in hot, and they're gonna hit them hard.
It hits
Yep.
hard.
So, Merlock, are you running this, or what are you running on your hunter?
So on my hunter, I actually have the Serpent Stalker's Band of Trickery, the one with the aimed shot that fires a serpent sting
Okay.
at the same time. That's the one that I typically run. I do actually have this legendary already. I did pick it up one of the previous times fighting the world boss, but I've never actually used it. I know that it's actually really cool for PvP though, because like you said, you can't hide from it once you get it. Once you get that shot off, and you will destroy somebody if they don't have a lot of hit points.
Well, it's just super high, like consistent damage because they could channel a rapid fire. You could try to line of sight it. It's still going through the pillar, and then they get an aim shot off, reset it, and do it again, and it's good consistent damage outside of the burst window. And it's
Right.
just insane during the burst window. So.
So, this 4-week rotation was why I quit playing my hunter, because I leveled him 2 days after this boss reset was gone. So 4 weeks sitting around not having this Lego, and I wanted just PvP on the hunter. He's accruing dust now. Like, I went back and got it after the 4 weeks, but here we are like 8 weeks later. I'm not playing him just because that 4 week I missed it and I lost interest. So
The damage was done.
Yeah, you could get it up pretty quick though.
right, so
Up to snuff with gear and all that. It's pretty fast.
we'll see if I can dust off the Dustnet Hunter, but otherwise we'll leave it up to Merlock to be a resident hunter expert. I'll just stay away from that threshold. All right, and then the third one that's going to drop here is going to be for Resto Druid. It's the Verdant Infusion. So this is going to be huge if you're a PvPer. Right now, I believe it's the best in slot, and it's going to get a buff here in 9.05. From the numbers I ran, Mythic Plus, it's like the second, like 36% of druids are running it. For raiders, like 10% are running it. But I think that's just the PvP crossover of the people that are stepping into Mythic Plus or stepping into raids, and that's their only Lego. But what this is going to do, it's going to make your Swiftman no longer consume a heal over time effect, and it's going to extend the duration of your hero over time effects by 8 seconds. So if anybody's not familiar, what this used to do, Swiftman used to just be on cooldown, use it, basically to instant heal. Now with Shadowlands, it makes it so it takes one of your heal over time effects. So when I was tanking, I would use this after pulls. I would use it as a quick jump out, heal myself up, and then keep going. But now I got to jump out, pop a hot, then use this thing. So now
Would it eat your frenzied regen? Or does
it
that not count?
doesn't count as a hot.
Okay.
So, but then if I use that too, like that's 30-some% of my health that's coming if I wasted that for this heal. Like it's
Right. That's why I was wondering, like, that'd be really bad if it ate your frenzied, if that counted.
right. And with that, we used to always run heals as our balance or heal affinity. But now it's kind of going back and forth between that and balance, because with balance you've got the knockback. So now that we don't have the knockback, we can spec into for the vortex knockback, kind of the poor man's version of death grip, to be able to grip everything up. So it's a little different world in druids now. But again, Resto Druid, go out and get that. It's going to help in your arsenal across the board. And then with the buff, it's hopefully going to make it that much better.
One note to throw in there. Swiftman actually used to be like this before, where it would
Yep.
always eat a hot to use. That got removed in like Legion or BFA, so it's back for Shadowlands.
So they made it better, they made it worse, and now they give us this crutch Lego to help fix
Yeah.
it. So, all right, and I think we're covered on world bosses. Let's move on here and talk about raids. Raids made a huge leap this week. We've got 392 guilds now with Cutting Edge. That's ridiculous because it went from 226 the week before. No, that can't be right. We're at 392. It couldn't have gone from 226. I think that's how many Horde have it last week.
No,
So-
it's 292. You have a typo
292.
there.
Okay, that's
It's 292. Yeah,
Alright.
I noticed that.
All right, so 292 is where we're at for Cutting Edge. With that variable, we got. No, dude, it's got to be 392 because we got 100 some Alliance guilds and we got 200 some Horde guilds, right?
No, because you said no. We only have. Oh wait.
Raids. We're gonna look it up live here. It may have changed from
Math.
yesterday, but Hall of Fame.
I don't try to math.
Yeah, it ain't for me.
Well, you said 392, up 60 from 226.
Yeah, so I
But-
think I put it the Horde, the 226 number there. So Sire, and let's go all. Okay, 394 is where we're sitting total. So 394 is the total for where we're at. Don't know what we were at last week. We'll just scuff that number. And then if we go to Horde, Horde has a total of 282. All right, you can do that math real quick. That means we got 112, so 112 Alliance guilds. So Alliance has finally closed out the Hall of Fame box. Next week we are getting cross servers opened up finally. Did you guys see something about like China boosting and stuff like that? I didn't read an article on it, but Moose, you're shaking your head. Did you read a little bit into what happened there, what that was about?
Yeah, apparently a couple. They were real money transactions for getting Nathria kills, the mythic Nathria kills for Alliance players, and NetEase is the company that handles World of Warcraft over in China. They ended up actually calling players and giving them interviews about the mythic Denathrius fight, and if they didn't answer correctly, they got banned.
It got their Hall of Fame taken away.
So, how does that work on a guild side of things? Like, they play your character for you? Like, so many people in the guild had people play their characters, or how's that?
Yeah, I think it was something like that. They had one instance, I can't remember the exact story, but one guy was like multi-boxing 8 different characters at once. And they called him and asked him like, "Hey, like, what's up?" And he was like, "Oh, I'm just so good. I can play
I'm
8
just that
characters at
good."
once." So they banned him.
So, wait, okay, he said he was multi-boxing 8 characters, or like, how does
No,
that...
they had proof that he was multi-boxing 8 characters, and they asked him like, "How does that happen?" And his response was, "I'm that good."
And then he got banned.
They caught him. He probably just knew he was screwed at that point.
Yeah, probably. But it's only like a 30-day ban, so
Okay, so it's not permanent, huh?
no, of course not.
So, I guess on this multi-boxing thing, so now that they can't use the software, like now, like I saw somebody like take a stick and run it across like 3 keyboards. Is that like people were doing, or how's
Well-
multi-boxing work now?
So he didn't get banned because he was multi-boxing. Had nothing to do with the fact he was multi-boxing. It was just that, like, oh, there's no way that you got this kill on Mythic Denathrius while multi-boxing 8 characters. And he's like, oh well, I'm just that good. And they're like, no, this kill wasn't legit. Banned.
Yeah, I think the ban that they gave people was under the sharing account details because the
Well, it
boosters
was
were
under
logging
the
in.
real money transaction.
I remember reading something about because they were sharing account, like so the person who paid for the boost had to give their account details to the booster.
I mean,
so
that's
that
a
they could play
possibility,
them.
but even if they self-played,
Mm-hmm.
they would still get banned for RMT.
Fair.
So, I guess to help me comprehend this, so basically Blizzard saw you had 8 accounts online, and he's like, "Oh, I'm multi-boxing," and they're like, "No," and he potentially had 8 different people playing his accounts. Is that what happened then? Is this what we were thinking?
That's a possibility too.
Yeah, I'm not too sure. I think that 8 different people paid for the boost, and then the person who was the booster was multi-boxing, and then they called one of the people that was getting boosted and asked him like, "Oh, how'd you do this with 8 characters?" But I don't know the details.
Right.
What a mess. All right.
Yeah.
Like the overarching story here is that real money transactions like are already rampant in China, and you're never going to stop it. The only reason this is a big deal is because it's Hall of Fame.
Right.
We're getting Hall of Fame achievements for it.
So
They're trying to crack down.
with us not being on the edge of cutting edge, I'm just glad we're done because now we can start doing cross server. So now it opens up where I think we're dipping our toe into it as might, or I don't know what the plan is completely, but having alts now, like, it gives the ability to at least knock out a couple of those bosses to get in there and kind of play around with it now that it's cross server opened up, so we can get on with those, like Sargeras or whatever the other big alliance servers are, like Illidan maybe. So good news on that front. I guess while we're on the topic, this week Might got their second kill on Donnie, and it was super clean, super impressive.
Super clean.
Think we can break it down to the Zoom meeting we had prior to it, where Hakkd brought up a PowerPoint and walked us through this quarter's projections on how we were going to do this. So
This quarter's projections.
because that's what it felt like, because we all got in the Zoom call, he pulled up the
Hey,
PowerPoint, like he had his laser pointer, was telling us, okay, here's what's going on. So I felt like I was at work for a little bit, but
Hey, if it works, right?
right. So while we're on that, let's show, I guess this is our love to see it, one of our clip of the week, just because it was so clean. We're gonna pull up this video and show our one shot here on Friday night after we watch the PowerPoint. All right, let me pull this up and adjust it. And I scuffed everything. There we go. Is that not showing in there? All right. This I should have tested. This one I didn't test, so it's not showing right. Chrome. There we go. Max screen. And this is from the point of view of what?
Baylock.
Baylock. What's his handle? The Only Lonely or something?
Lostcol0ny.
There you go.
Only lonely.
All right, we're not going to tell him, okay?
Oh no.
Lost Colony.
All right, here we go.
Lonely.
Look at this. You guys see this? We're gonna fucking kill the boss on our first shot of the night. No way! No way! No fucking way, dude!
All right, good deal.
Hold on, can you go back? Can you explain that out again real quick?
Yep. What are we
If you
looking
look
for?
closely down there at the damage meters, you'll see in 8th place is the better mage, and then in 10th place, or is that, no, 6th place and 8th place on the damage meter there?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. The guy who
All right.
retired from mage can't even beat me on this power.
Play the rest of the clip here, though. Play the
We're
rest of
good.
the clip.
We're good. No, we're good. We're
No,
good.
see that one.
No way!
You put into that slideshow was
Oh my
so
god!
So helpful. Thank you. Serious shout out.
Hack, dude. Hack made it happen. I'm telling you. Hacked 100% made this kill happen.
Hmm.
Look at this. You
Okay, so you clipped that, huh?
I didn't actually. I didn't clip that.
No.
It did make me feel good though. It made me feel good as fuck.
So
I did appreciate those shoutouts.
what's awkward about that is I was kind of upset we one-shot it.
Oh yeah.
Because normally we spend, what, an hour, 2 hours in there. So I showed up late, came in there unprepared. I had my PvP trinket on. Like, I had my
Oh.
PvP build. Like, was just not ready. As I tried to mash my buttons and use my trinkets, I was like, shit, I'm in the wrong spec. It's alright. Our first pull, like, whatever. As I'm just at the bottom of the meters, not even showing up. Like, go figure. Like, I'm just not having good luck in these Donnie parses. First time we killed it, I died in phase 3, so shitty gray parse. Here we are with me in PvP gear, PvP spec, just doing a shitty rotation. And I'm like, great. And now we one-shot it. So I do not have good Donnie parses.
Oh no. Yeah, well, you
Alright.
stayed alive and we killed it. So is what it is.
Alright, we good on the raid topic there, guys? Or anything else we want to touch on the raid side of things?
Yep.
Yeah, we're good.
Alright. Let's jump into... I guess we'll knock out PvP real quick. So, to follow up here, you guys did some PvP this week, right? We got Hakkd and Moose, and I don't know if Merlock got anything with you guys. Merlock, you got any PvP in this week, these guys, or?
I don't think I did this past week. I don't think I did, no. I wasn't on very much this past week. Lots of stuff going on with the family.
Alright, fair. And then you guys did some PvP, and then hopefully we're going to have a clip put together, kind of a highlight reel of you guys just maging people to death, right? Is that the plan?
That's the plan, yeah.
Hopefully.
Alright,
Gotta stop
so...
queuing into Rogue Mage.
Or what if one of you goes mage and rogue? Like, what if one of you switches up, like...
I could if I had my Rogue. Don't have it leveled up.
And Moose is just like, no, I'm the top mage, I'm not switching, we'll make that guy go rogue. Is this what...
I just don't think he could play Rogue. There's too
Wow.
much brain power there.
Wow. Okay. I'll be leveling a rogue now.
Alright.
I don't know. Last time I played a rogue was Warlords of Draenor. That was fun.
So what, 3 expansions ago? WoD, Legion, BFA? Okay. So, we have some changes coming up here that I want to touch on, and then a hypothetical we'll get into, but... So, Epic Battleground changes, like, I don't care enough about Epic Battlegrounds to really understand why Blizzard put all these changes out, but a lot of the Battlegrounds here, the Epic ones, are getting changed as 9.05, which is weird. They put this much
I can tell
effort
you
into-
why.
Go ahead, explain this to me then.
Because of the weekly quest for Epic Battlegrounds that people feel like they need to do. So everybody is getting
Okay, so now we're getting back
pushed into it. And they realize how much it fucking sucks. Because they all suck.
Fair. Like,
I hate the Epic DGs.
2 big changes I saw is, like, one, I think for Ashran, they're changing it from 30 people to 35 because they wanted to feel more big and epic is how they worded it. Like, they want to have more people in there. And then the War Song, no, not War Song, Wintergrass. So if you're on defense, you're pretty much guaranteed to win. So they're adding some changes now that make offense a little more aggressive, so they have a better chance, because when you get in there, you're just basically stuck for half an hour, because the offense rarely ever wins, so you're just committed to running this one out now. So hopefully that'll help. But yeah, like Epic Battlegrounds, it's... You could do it when the weekly comes out. Otherwise, is anybody just like, yes, I want to hop in. That's what I want to do today is Epic Battlegrounds, right?
No, I think it's just to try to relieve the pain point of the weekly quest.
All right, good deal. So
I don't
hopefully
think
those...
anybody wants to go in there and do it unless there's a quest up for it.
What they could have done to improve Ashran is get rid of all the damn lag. That would have been that'd probably be not add more people to it to make it feel more epic. They could have actually made it playable. So hopefully they did something to make it playable, because I don't care if there's 35 people in there if I can't move.
So you're saying they went the wrong way with this adding more people into this lag fest?
yeah, I was not happy to hear that they bumped the number of people up. I mean, it's only 5 more people, but still, they've had problems with lag and Ashran since Warlords of Draenor, and they've never fixed it.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we'll see how this turns out. I guess it's a good thing they're making some changes and making it. They're not just leaving a dead horse to lie. They're trying to bring it back to life and make a little spark to it. Something I want to run by you guys is there's been so much talk, and I keep watching these videos on solo queuing for Arena. So, I guess high level, before we kind of dig into this, what are your thoughts on them putting in a solo queue system? I guess we'll start with you on this, your Hakkd.
The solo queue's been a big thing for 4 years now, and I'm sure not all of it, but it got really brought to the forefront with Stoops TV and Savix bringing it up. But essentially, their thought point is, which I agree with, you get on to play the game, and you want to play some Arena, right? And you sit in LFG, like you're playing LFG for hours, and then you find a group, you queue up, that group falls apart, you're back in the LFG system for an hour. So the idea is that you have a separate SR to queue solo queue, and it's something that doesn't have to matter in any way, shape, or form. It's just to allow you to play, because it's one of those things where if you don't play, you don't get better. And in the current system now, you're kind of walled off from playing, or at least half of your playtime, right? Like if you can pull 3 hours today of WoW time, you're only going to get to play Arena for an hour if you're lucky. So
Right. So
the idea. Basically skirmish, yeah. Except it's actual rated PvP, and it's something that you can see yourself getting better in with solo queue, and it just gives you a chance to play. But it's rated, so it's actually worth playing because you get conquests, you get honor, get rating.
Right, so the skirm's with a rating. So, because right now you do a skirm, you could queue in there with no gear, and you get into this glad guy who's just screwing around, and he just solos a 1v3 just because he has that much gear over everybody. So, given the actual ranks to it, and I guess we'll dig into it more in a second. I guess, Merlock, what are your thoughts on this solo queue system as somebody maybe who doesn't do as much Arena?
So I'd probably just get destroyed going in there. But I think it would be a good learning experience for me. I'd like to get in there and see if I can figure out how to play my class in Arena by myself.
Right, and the reps, like that's how you learn everything. Get better. It's
Mhm.
practice, repetition.
Exactly, and that's the point where like you go play Overwatch, you don't have to sit there and wait for 5 other people before you even get to start playing games. You just start playing the game, and that's like you're gonna sit there at the bottom or whatever until you get better, and you get better by playing.
Yeah.
You don't get better at WoW by oh, I'm reading this guide and in this, like it's gonna help when you do get to play, but you only get better from playing.
Right. I guess, Moose, what are your thoughts there? This potential system, like for, against it, where you at?
I mean, something's got to change, right?
Right.
So whether it works or it fails, at least it's something to try. I hope it works. I mean, they have matchmaking for skirmishes, so there's no reason not to have it for rated. I think having it separate, like Hack said, makes sense. Like a separate SR.
Right, because you'll still have your twos, your threes, your rated. So this will be its own individual thing.
Yeah,
And
it wouldn't get rid of the existing system because the existing system is good when you have a team. Solo queue just allows you to, like, it's. I think it'd be really good if you can leave your LFG queue open while you're solo queuing, and that way, in between each game, you're like, oh, finally, hey, here's a healer that wants to queue twos with me, or whatever.
Right. So another change,
Solo
they
queue
should
token.
have that as a function where you can come back and check to it. Like it's that's another system they need to look into revamping. But something I saw, or when I was watching, because I watched the video here of like what Savix, Stumps,
Probably
Scoops, and then I think Venruki was probably there. There was like
Only
4 people.
Lonely.
So yeah, maybe Only Lonely got in a little bit. So. But they did mention that like if solo queue had a top for each spec and class, like if I wanted to play like a not top tier heal spec, because right now if you're healing in arena, if you want to be top, you want to be glad, you basically got to be a paladin or what, priest, just
A paladin.
So
Paladin.
Just a paladin.
but let's say you're the guy that's like the best Mistweaver monk in the world. Even if you're the best, your class is just crippled.
No.
There's not a
Creed.
best Mistweaver monk in the world.
Well, like, no, Creed, in this last AWC played Mistweaver Monk. Like, people that are that fucking good can play anything and they'll
Okay.
make it work.
Yep. So on that note, like let's say they set up this solo queue system as the top percent of each spec or top percent of each class got solo kill or solo queue glad. Like I went into this and I just play Mistweaver Monk and I don't have to worry about people shaming me for playing this spec because it's not top tier. I can just queue in there and it ranks me against all the other Mistweaver monks. What are your thoughts on a system like that where you can get this top rank thing of this class, this spec? Like even playing an off thing like Outlaw Rogue. So you're the best of this scuff spec that nobody plays in PvP. I guess, what are your thoughts on that, Hakkd, of them having, instead of just...
I mean, that's already a thing, technically. It's just, you just mean for it to be like an actual goal of like an achievement or something to work towards with the solo queue system.
Yeah, so right now they've got it as like top percentage of all teams, but imagine if they had it top of this spec.
Right.
Because right now, if
Well-
you're going into PvP...
Well, no, like, rank 1s are player specific. So, like, if you're rank 1, that's your own personal thing.
Right, but imagine...
You can assume that the other 2 people on your main team are also rank 1 because they're right there with you,
Right.
but it's still a solo thing.
Yeah, but if it was specialized to that class, like,
Yeah,
instead of... Like, let's say Peekaboo, for instance. He plays Rogue, like that's kind of his niche. He's the Rogue guy. But let's say he went off and did Fury Warrior 2, and he got... He's not just, like, glad player. He's glad Rogue player. Like, he had the top Rogue, because there was a tier for just people that queued as sub-rogues, and it ranked you. Let's say it was a thing for
I mean,
each
you
tier.
could look that up and get ranked. You could go find the rank 1, you know, sub rogue right now. You could go find the rank 1 Fury Warrior right now. So I doubt that they would do anything like that in game because you don't still get rank 1 titles. I think you do in game, but
I think you do, maybe. Because you got Glad's different than like top rank, right? Did they change it, or is it just
Yeah.
all?
Glad is just 50 wins over 2400. Rank 1 is top 0.5%. That's just overall.
Okay. So not so much on the pace of having them give it out specific. You'd rather just have it across the board still.
Yeah, I just don't think, because people will still go like look you up and they could still find out that you may not be rank 1 overall, but you're still like, oh, you're the rank 1 Fury Warrior, you know.
Right, because where it came from here, because I use a Loot Hub, no, the Loot District to look people up and look up specs and stuff like that. So if we go to, they've got a breakdown of class representation. So if we're looking at 2400, and let's say we're looking at 2s. If we break it down to, here, I'll switch this over too so you can see where I'm looking at. twos for range. So you look at here, like Fire Mage. There's I'll go 2400, 128 Fire Mages at Glad status. There's 3 Arcane Mages. So to be like, I'm one of the top 5 Arcane Mages because that's what I pushed my rank up to in it, and having a separate rank for each spec, like, okay, I queued in here as Holy Paladin. Holy Paladin's my main. I want to try Red a little bit. Having a different rank for my Ret play as opposed to my Holy rather than my overall play. So you can see I'm this good at this good at that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's where I want to kind of see it, where, okay, this guy's glad. I want to see this guy's glad at this. This guy's glad at this, like, to see what their caliber is at a certain spec and combo.
I mean, that'd be cool and all, but I don't expect that ever happening ever. Like, too much would have to shift up for you to have a separate. You're talking about pretty much like a separate SR per spec of your class. So like, you're on your character, and you're 2400 on Fire Mage. When you swap to Arcane, all your shit is 0, and you have separate SRs.
Right. So I guess, is that how Overwatch works? Is it per character?
No, it is per role.
Role, right? So
you also queue up as each individual role, which, I mean, you could technically do. With like healer, so like as a paladin, you could have, you know, just queuing for healer activates your healer SR, and then you know, pure damage specs or classes. I mean, what are you gonna do? I feel like that's too much for them to. Like, I wouldn't expect them to ever do it. It'd be something cool, but not something I'd be like, man, Blizzard really needs to do this. Because
I think the problem I would see with that would be, it would like incentivize people to play scuffed specs. So like you see right here, if you were trying to be the top 1% of Fire Mage, it's a lot harder than to be the top 1% of an Arcane Mage, right?
Right.
So you could just play it, and if you're solo queuing, if you get queued up with that guy who's like, oh, I'm just trying to be top 1%, he's playing Arcane Mage, and you're like, well, that sucks. Now I get queued with this potato.
Right. And do you think the SR would start to like even that out though? Like, let's play this Arcane Mage is a potato, and like he's now at like 600 SR. If you're 1200 and you get really good, you could potentially kind of do the peekaboo thing where he goes and looking for a group and he just carries. Like, he's doing 2 versus 1s. So I feel like it would balance it out where it would push you up even if you are playing somebody or with somebody playing a scuff spec. You start to learn how to play these weird comps and like how they work together.
I see your point there, yeah, for sure. But I don't know. I don't think, like, for most people, like for me, I'm not going to go in and play at Peekaboo's level or any of these top Glad levels, you know. So if I go into a solo queue and I get put with something that's totally worthless for a comp for me, it's not like I can just 1v2 and carry this guy through an arena.
Right. You think it'll start developing more? Like, because we talked about one, you're not in town anymore. You're out there actually playing, getting more reps in there. And with it having more of a variety, like the odds of you going against another variety comp is higher too. Like, you go in there as Fury Warrior and now you're paired with Arcane Mage, and now you're going against some other goofy comp on the other side. Like, seeing more variety than just, okay, here we are with Rogue Mage and here we are against Rogue Mage. Here's Rogue Mage. Oh, here's Pally Warrior or whatever the other similar ones are. Getting a bigger variety, seeing different comps is, with it being its own little niche. Like, it's not the 2s, it's not the 3s, it's its own little monster. I guess, is the variety not appealing to have that in there? Would you still want to see the good comps all the time?
I mean, playing a Fire Mage, I definitely would rather be solo queued up with a Rogue than solo queued up with.
But if you're playing solo queue to just play Fire Mage, then you learn to play it's not so much learning how to play different comps and stuff in solo queue. It's just learning how to play and do your kit in the situation. It's just I I don't think I would want any like separate SRs for any. Just simply solo queue with a rating. It doesn't actually matter. Just gives you a chance to play and get better.
All right, fair. I guess anything else in the PvP topic you guys want to touch on, or we kind of beat that horse to death with the solo queue stuff?
I like beat it to death. Yeah.
All right, good deal. So I guess we're kind of 50-50 on it. Have people think it's like an Overwatch mechanic, keep it at Overwatch. On the other side, I kind of want to see some variety to it. But moving on here, let's talk about all the stuff that's coming on this week in WoW with different events. So first thing we got coming up here is Time Walking, Warlords of Draenor. I guess, Merlock, you got some bullet points of what's going on here with this week holiday?
Yeah, so for this particular holiday, there's actually a couple of toys and a couple of mounts that are available for the badges. You usually get your weekly quest where you can get some additional items for completing the 5 time walking dungeons, and the first one you run, you'll get your 500 bonus badges. So at the very least, you should get that one done so you can get those bonus badges. Each one of these mounts costs 5,000 time walking badges, so it can take you quite a while to get up to 10,000 you need for the Warlords of Draenor week if you want to collect both mounts.
Okay, good deal. And then we also got the Dark Moon Fair coming up here. I guess it starts today if you're watching this live with us. If you're watching this when it drops on Monday, it started yesterday. You got some bullet points for people on the Dark Moon Fair?
No, not really. I mean, it's just that's a good way to get tokens and tickets for pets and for pets and for mounts. There's a bunch of different stuff that's available in there. I think the most useful thing to anybody right now is if you're working on any kind of reputation, you can always go there and pick up that 1 hour 10% reputation buff. It does make a difference. It's actually worth it to go there and get it, and then get out and do your rep grind. I think that's pretty much it. And of course, there will be tokens that are available. So if you are trying to work on old reps, you should be able to level up the old reps with Warlords of Draenor while the week is active off of the time walking vendor.
All right, good deal. And then Moose, you got some Moose droppings on this Dark Moon Fair stuff, right? You pulled something out of your hat last week with this. You got some tips on Dark Moon Fair week?
Yeah, I mean, just the alt push. If you're trying to level an alt, this is the week to do it. You get that, like Merlock said, that 10% rep, I believe, is also the 10% XP buff.
Yeah.
Which, that's 10% XP. And then if you play any of the Carnival games, the bags that you get from the end of them has a chance to give you a Dark Moon top hat, I believe it's called. And then that you can actually use to reapply that 10% buff instead of having to come back to the Dark Moon Fair after an hour, or if you die in a dungeon or something. So.
All right, there we go. So from the guys, if you're trying to grind rep this week, get that alt experience up, good week to push both of those to fill in with this buff you get from the Dark Moon Fair. So another real quick thing, the Maw this week coming up to Tuesday through Friday, it's another Shadehound hunt week. So if you don't have your mount, Tuesday through Friday, get out there, kill that big dog boss guy, try and get your shot at the mount again. We also have a new Torgath event that's coming up this week. It's the Unbridled Darkness. So we've had the prior one, the Beast one, the Choir one, and now we've got this Unbridled Darkness. This one seems really off the wall from the other two, because what's going to happen here is every 5 kills, it's going to black out your screen until you get 5 more kills, then the light turns back on. So it's going to give you a 150% increase by just picking this off the cuff. So kind of like the Beast and the Choirs, you don't have to do it, but that's going to be your first pick. And I don't know how that's going to work, especially for those ones that have like the chains where it's kind of a pain in the ass to tightrope the train. I don't know what's going to happen when it's pitch black. I guess, Merlock, did you look a little bit more into this? We talked about this morning, but...
I tried to look into it. This mechanic does not really sound all that fun to me. Torghast, you
No.
have a lot of stuff that you need to be able to avoid, and you have to be able to see it to avoid it. And like, I don't really care if I get 150% damage increase if I'm fighting in Torghast and one of these guys that can one shot me comes up and I can't see him. I'm not going to be able to dodge the hit. What is it called? The massive strike, massive blow, something like that.
Massive strike, yeah.
Yeah, that if you can't see to dodge that, you're gonna get one shot. That's not a fun mechanic to me.
150% damage though. That's a lot.
So
I
maybe
mean,
it
if you
does
want to tab
facilitate-
target,
Well, maybe it facilitates like, oh, I'm just gonna pop like my huge defensive run through and pull everything, and then I'm just gonna like spam a bunch of big AOE, like, and
yeah,
melt it all.
I could see
Your
that.
fucking screen
you know.
flickering black.
But you can't. But again, you can't really see what you're doing. So, if you go run to pull a bunch of mobs, and you get blinded, you could run off the edge.
Oh, it's that dark?
Well,
so,
So it depends.
We
on,
don't. I
like,
don't really
if-
know yet. I don't really know. I
Yeah.
haven't seen it.
so here's a screenshot of what it was supposed to look like. I don't know if this is in game or this was in like a PTR, but
Yeah.
it looks like everything is blacked out but your mini map. So you can potentially see where you need to go based on the mini map, but still like you guys talked about, like trying to stay on the path, worrying about the traps, like all this stuff just seems ridiculous.
Yeah. I
Yeah,
don't
to me that doesn't seem fun at all.
Well, so-
It seems annoying, is what it is.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing. It maybe requires some planning because you're not gonna be, trying to walk through traps. See, okay. Here's my question. What if I am like, oh, I'm gonna game this because I'm gonna pull 20 things all together, and then I kill it all, and I'm like, okay, the screen's black, I can see my screen, my screen's black, I can see my screen, and then I get one final kill or something, and my screen goes black. I have I don't know if there's any other mobs around, right? Like,
Looks like it will be Helen Kellering it through the Torghast.
and then, like, is it on a timer of some sort? Can I like do that and then wait out the black screen to carry on and try to move through the traps? I don't know if there's a fucking edge. I don't know if there's traps. I don't know if there's anything. Like, it'd be
And
cool.
maybe if you're working with a team, somebody can kind of like, guide you. Nope, you're about to fall off the edge. Stop.
Right, I'll just stream it. Oh wait, that would help. Never mind. Or,
Right. Thunder Fury makes a good point. You're blinded right before the final boss,
right before the boss, yeah.
Oh, and then you can't. Yeah, what happens there?
and you can't see him.
What about anima orbs? Anima powers.
You can't. There are anima powers that you can get, and there are different things that it'll increase the damage that they do. Like I think there's one where you damage all the enemies that's around you and stuff like that. But there isn't
No,
an
I
anima
mean-
power that turns off the darkness.
No, I mean finding an anima orb when your screen is black. Like, if your screen is black after a mob pack, there could be fucking 2 anima power orbs sitting there,
Yeah, you can't see them.
and you
You
don't know.
can't. Your screen is
Yeah.
totally blacked out.
So I don't know if this is a solo one. I
Yeah.
think this has to be a group one.
Well, I will do it solo this week and see how it goes.
Yeah, I mean, I'll try
Alright.
it out. It sounds like something to witness, experience.
Just record your runs. Record your runs because I want to see it too.
Yeah,
sure.
so you guys got to stream when you do this. So we can see this shit show and how it worked out.
I believe as a fire mage, I should be able to combust and then be able to see
Right? Like your own little
the
like,
human
lantern.
torch, Yeah.
Human torch.
Oh man.
I mean, if that's the case, I should be able to just see all the time on my paladin.
Yeah.
I wonder if I'll be able to use Eyes of the Beast.
Wait, that makes no sense.
Oh, or if you could use a flare.
Yeah, use Eyes of the Beast or a flare. See if I can maybe light up something.
Man, so does every class have in theory, light glow mechanic?
Not a warrior because
Not a warrior.
they're not real classes.
I mean, like, if they engage, maybe there's a little, like, subtle glow, like an ember. Like,
I mean, Demon Hunter Spectral Sight should work though.
Yeah, what if the
Demon
spectral
Hunter
sight's
just-
blacked out though? That's pretty funny.
Yeah, Demon Hunter period. They can see. They're
Yeah.
always blind.
Yeah.
They can still see. Right?
right, like, this is the Demon Hunter week, where it just negates any effect because they are blind. Alright, so, Torgath, I guess, any other events this week coming up that you guys know of, want to talk about?
Well,
Man,
that I can
I
think
think that
of.
covers everything that's coming up.
I think we
Yeah.
hit all the topics. I guess we can go through and do some final thoughts then, I guess. Kind of final thoughts you got here, Merlock? A recap, anything?
No, I think I'm good. I am excited to see additional changes done. I don't know if I'm necessarily excited about being blinded in Torghast, but you know, the little tweaks and stuff that they're doing, trying to balance the game out. So maybe it'll make it a little bit easier for us to get through heroic and stuff on the farm raid. We'll see what I can do this week.
Alright, good deal.
One thing I'm not excited about is Windwalker tuning for 905. Bug fixes.
Oh yeah, they're fixing the class.
No. It's literally worked like that forever. And it's never been an issue. Now it's an issue because Weapons of Order is OP. Like, that's not the reason shit is OP. It's
Haven't
it
monks
just
sucked
hurts.
for a long time?
Yeah, they always suck.
Yeah, they've always sucked for a
They're
long
always
time, and now
the
they're
worst
finally
single target.
shining. They should just let them shine. Just let them have this expansion. Buff the hell out of them. Everybody will play monks.
They don't always suck. Their AoE or their single target always sucks. So
Yeah.
put that out there. But yeah, for anybody who doesn't know, they're fixing an interaction with your images that you spawn. Where now, if you have images out and you cast your Fist of Fury and cancel it with something else, your images do the new spell and continue to Fist of Fury. So they do, each image, including yourself, does like 45% of your damage or something. So it's effectively like a 35% damage buff overall with all three of your images attacking.
Wow.
So when you cancel your Fist of Fury, you're still getting, I don't think it's 45, I think it's less than that, but you're getting, you know, still, say, 75 to 90% of the Fist of Fury value. While, do you like my Fist of Fury?
Yes.
What are you laughing at?
I was going to ask you to raise your hands because we're just barely getting a view of that. Like,
So yeah, you would like pop your images, do like a Rising Sun kick, Fist of Fury, and then you would stop it with a Whirling Dragon Punch, and your guys would still continue to do the Fist of Fury. It's always done that, literally always. And when they fixed this bug, they broke it more now to where your spirits cooldown reduction isn't the same. So if you reset your cooldown on Rising Sun Kick and Fist of Fury faster, it doesn't reset theirs. So when you use it, they don't, because it's still on cooldown for them. So they're literally fixing the interaction that is, I mean, part of the reason that they're doing good right now, but it's not even the part that's OP. And they're effectively dumpstering Storm, Earth, and Fire again. Like, it's gonna be unusable because it's bugged. Like, your images just aren't gonna use the abilities that you do. So, not happy about that.
alright, so Hack's final thought is triggered. So, alright, Moose, what do you got for final thoughts?
I think the important thing is that if you're going to be leveling an ult and you do a battleground, you might run into me.
Oh, good
That's
call.
right.
Good save,
Yeah,
good save.
yeah.
So let's
The actual clip of the week.
the actual clip of the week. This one's brought to you by Heal to Death. Not only lonely, this one's Heal to Death. And
Not only lonely.
to give a little recap here, or a little preview, we've got Nightcry and we've got Rage Hacked on Might Horde, run into a battleground, and we'll see what happens.
It's him.
That's them. What's up,
Oh no! Oh no! It's Molten Moose. Everyone target Molten Moose.
They ignore everyone. In the
Where'd he go?
blender.
Get out here! Don't you dare, Moose!
No. I got dick. I love how we both just charged right in at him.
Don't even care. He's around like 12 people.
In the middle of
There
everything.
was my teammate ignoring
Yeah.
God, what a little
me
bug.
fighting for my life.
It's him.
That's them.
So yeah, you might run into me. We might have to scrap. We'll see.
Alright, so if you guys are playing Horde, watch out for Molten Moose. He will kite you and pick on you like a varsity player on a JV player. So
I think they also had, is his name Sacred Stun or is it Scared Stun?
Sacred.
Sacred Stun. Yeah, they had another guy there who was playing a hunter, and all three of them were just targeting me the entire battleground.
Yeah. We did get him a couple times when there wasn't a horde around them.
Yeah.
Oh man. That was so we jumped into like straight up 10 people surround like didn't give a shit.
It is funny.
alright, good deal. Well, to wrap things up, I want to thank the two people for the clips of the week. Healtodeath for that one. The other dude, Bay, it'll be down the comments, his actual Twitch handle, because Only Lonely is apparently
Colony.
not there. Yeah, Lostcol0ny. So
Only one.
we give them a shout out, follow them, give them some love. Appreciate you guys stopping out. We're here every Sunday morning for the Morning Wood. We've got the show coming on 8 a.m. Central Time. If you want to catch me live, I'm streaming 7 to 10 Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Again, appreciate you guys stopping out. Throw us some videos down in the comments so we can potentially get you in the drawing this month for some Morning Wood merchandise, and we can give you a shout out, show your clip as the clip of the week. Again, thank you for coming out, guys.
Peace out.